whoa. Okay, first off, I had my freaking freak out moment last video for this stupid reveal. Still think this reveal is hella stupid and Flash is just trying to go for shock value. But let's go ahead and try to get some actual answers to these questions in this video, or at least pose questions that make this reveal totally stupid. Because one, you're gonna hit me with the chicken and the egg scenario, Flash? Like, really? You are going to tell me that we are in a closed loop, which a lot of you guys were like, it's a closed loop, but you're gonna really fucking hit me with that. It's the damn chicken and the egg scenario, that we don't know if Savitar was created or who came first, Savitar or Savitar. Like, that is the stupidest thing ever. Like, you know, somebody was probably like, we should make Barry Savitar, right? And somebody was all like, how do we explain that? And you're just like, what came first, the chicken or the egg? See, there we go, Savitar. This is seriously the stupidest reveal. And I also want to say again, time remnants. Really, Flash? 2 years in a row, time remnants? Like, is that all this damn show is gonna be? Is constant, like, let's just use what we did from last season. Let's just pull what we did from last season. Let's do nothing but reveals. So if you guys want to know what to expect in season 4, expect a big reveal. Expect it to be somebody that we know, and we're just like, oh my god! And expect for me to rant about it, because I'm gonna think it's stupid. Anyways, I want to throw the challenge to you guys. Try to explain how the hell this makes sense that there is a first Savitar. Explain the first Savitar, because Barry never creates time remnants if there is no Savitar. And I know it's like paradoxical or whatever, but there's some other shit that doesn't make sense too, with the whole cause and effect thing that they were trying to talk about. Like, Barry's all like, well, what if I kill myself? And then freaking Savitar is all like, well, you could, but freaking it didn't work out for, you know, Eddie. We know that Dawn's still around, so time travel is a tricky thing. And apparently the more you time travel, the less it applies to you. Which that whole cause and effect, which they kept saying over and over in this episode, was completely stupid. This is why I just thought it was so dumb explaining everything. First off, they explained everything like you had to be a child to like understand it, because it was just so out there and so crazy, and they were like, we need to try to make sense of this somehow, so let's just literally spell it out in dialogue for you. Which was like, I'm telling you, I think somebody was like, we should make Savitar Barry, and it'll be super shocking, but then somebody was like, explain that, and the guy was like, Also, Cisco just automatically knew that it was 2056 Barry, and I'm all like, really? Are they just trying to close that hole that they had and just make him that? Because if it's 2056 Barry, then tell me what happens to 2024 Barry. Like, I'm serious, when you really think about it, apparently there's a crisis that makes the Flash disappear in 2024. We know nothing of that Flash, but we know there's a Flash from 2056 that sends a message to Rip Hunter about what's gonna happen. I'm assuming, because he just says war. He doesn't say aliens come to the planet and we freaking get a Supergirl and all that shit. He doesn't go into detail. He just says there's a war and that, you know, he created Flashpoint and he just changed things, and that was it. And he said not to trust himself. He said not to trust Flash is what he meant. But that's from 2056. He went missing in 2024. So we don't know how those two things connect. If that message came from like 2022 or even 2024 or 2021, which is when we assume that this Savitar, like Savitar actually gets beat, is in 2021 with Emo Barry. Savitar gets beat in 2021 because Joe said that 4 years later or 4 years from now, freaking Tracy comes up with the technology to capture Savitar, and I'm just assuming that in the show it's 2017. So yeah, I don't know, I thought it was just kind of a cop-out that they automatically just closed that hole of 2056 Barry, and it was like, oh yeah, I'm warning you because I'm Savitar kind of shit. Like, that was like, come on, man. Like, we haven't even figured out what the hell the 2024 crisis thing is. We just assume that it's Barry going back in time to save himself from when he was younger. And that's what at least I assume, but we have yet to prove that. Totally went off track, but the biggest issue I had in this episode was the whole cause and effect thing. So apparently Barry can't kill himself because, you know, we don't know how that'll happen. And I know Savitar said it's a tricky thing, so maybe it could have worked. But I thought it was just kind of dumb because they basically found out that whatever happens to Barry now affects Savitar later in this freaking episode because he lost his memories. And this pisses me off, right? So we found out that Barry loses his memories. He like loses everything, can't remember anybody. They kind of have to do this whole like, oh, this was you, and you know, he finds out how he's the freaking Flash and all that shit all over again. So him losing his memories causes Savitar to lose his memories. But if he's a time remnant, shouldn't he be able to do his own thing? It's not necessarily connected to this one, but whatever, because Eobard is still his own thing. Like, he's that time remnant from that time period. He has those memories or whatever. But, I don't know. But that other Eobard is dead. The one that Eddie would create. So, from my understanding, time remnants would still have their memories from that time period they were in. But that doesn't happen with Savitar because Barry's still alive, I guess, and he just automatically changes his memories, which makes no freaking sense to me because Barry lost all his memories. He was still a good dude, but Savitar was still a bad dude because he starts choking Caitlin? Like, what is the deal with that? They could have just captured Caitlin and, like, went to find Savitar. Savitar would have never killed Iris had he never got his memory back. Now, you would be sacrificing Wally because Wally would never get his powers, but at the same time, like, which still kind of doesn't make sense. I don't get how freaking Wally loses his powers, to be honest, because I understand that if you change the past, it affects the future, so I don't know why Barry changing his memories after Wally gets his powers affects Savitar. Now, I understand that, alright, well, if Savitar is never created, then there's actually never any Wally. I understand that completely, but this is a closed loop of things that constantly happen, but I would assume that since that Wally already had his powers and a Savitar currently exists, he should keep his powers. But you know what? I know a lot of you guys in the comments are going to be like, hey, dude, if there's no Savitar, there's no Wally. Okay, then are we going to assume that there is going to be no more Kid Flash at the end of this season? Because I'm pretty sure they're going to defeat Savitar somehow. How is Kid Flash going to keep his powers? Do you guys get where I'm going with this? I'm not trying to be like a party pooper. If you freaking like the reveal, good for you. Awesome. I think it's fucking stupid because there's just so many things that don't make sense, and I feel like they're taking the easy way out. He's a time remnant. Oh, you know, he freaking kills Iris because he's sad. What came first, the chicken or the egg? That's the same scenario. Like, it's like, what? But you got all these other little factors that create Savitar. And seriously, at the same time, why doesn't Caitlin change at the same time? Because look at this. I'm just trying to make sense of all this. If Wally loses his powers because of Savitar, shouldn't Caitlin stop working with Savitar? Because now he doesn't convince her. He doesn't show up at the end of that one episode and reveal himself, and she starts working with him, right? You gotta be with me on this one. There's a lot of shit that doesn't make sense right now. Also, one big question. How the fuck does Savitar get his suit? Because apparently the crew doesn't make it. Our guys, Cisco, everybody doesn't make that suit. Are you telling me that Savitar is able to go into the Speed Force and create that suit? Because if that's the case, why doesn't Barry just go into the Speed Force? Why doesn't Barry just go into the Speed Force and be like, give me Savitar suit, boom, and then he's just as fast as Savitar and he can save freaking Iris that way? You better explain to me how the hell he got that suit, Flash. And I know some people in the comments are gonna be like, oh, well, he just built it. No. Freaking Barry doesn't build shit. Barry freaking works in forensics. That's as smart as he gets on there. He doesn't really do much else. He doesn't build shit. I mean, maybe he's learned over time, but in this show, in the comic books, he builds shit. But in this show, he doesn't build stuff. It's all Cisco, Caitlin, and Wells. They take care of all the mechanical shit. Barry just does all the forensic stuff. They haven't really shown him build anything in this series. So don't tell me that he freaking builds his own suit. It's usually somebody else. Most logical thing is the Speed Force does it. And if that's the case, why the hell doesn't our Barry just go into the Speed Force and make his own damn Savitar suit? Alright, I'm not going to say any more on that particular topic. But you guys got to agree that at least half of what I'm saying makes sense, because it just, if Wally loses his powers, like, come on, like, that has to affect Caitlyn in some way, like, she doesn't listen to him or whatever, because then that pretty much means there's no Savitar. Like, if it affects powers, it has to affect words somehow. I don't know. I just feel like Flash is being really picky, or like, oh, let's just do this, but oh, but that doesn't make, oh, who cares, no one's gonna talk about that. Oh, Juice will. Anyways, besides all of that nonsense that I wasn't a fan of, this episode was pretty badass. There was a lot of Easter eggs, some of the coolest things, well, actually, not the coolest things. One of them, some of you guys were pissed about, that they used the whole Bart Allen thing in this episode, and because, you know, he was like, what's my name? And he was all, Bartholomew, whatever. He was like, why am I called Barry? He was like, Bart makes more sense, and he started calling himself Bart Allen. They're like, yeah, that's fine. Boom! Bart Allen, which is a character later on in the future. Maybe we're never gonna get him now, because they just used him as an Easter egg, and some of you guys were like, that sucks! So that was pretty funny, but the best thing in this episode was finding out that Barry freaking loved Dragon Ball Z! Dragon Ball Z references all day, every day, but figuring out that the freaking Flash is a fan of Dragon Ball Z, I'm down with it. There was just a lot of funny moments in this episode, because, you know, Barry's kind of trying to remember himself and have shit go down like that. I thought that was pretty cool. I loved the whole Killer Frost coming back to help, which I think is a, how do you say, foreshadowing of the future, that she's able to work with everybody as Killer Frost. And, you know, Cisco's trying to really get back into her mind and just try to trick her, be like, you know, show her all the good memories. And we even saw that it started to work after she was like, I don't love any of you. And then she gets in the freaking elevator and her eyes go, pew! And they go back to Caitlyn for a split second. She's coming back, y'all! And she's gonna look all sexy Killer Frost all the time, but she's actually gonna have the personality of Caitlyn. That was cool, and then we got to see very happy, upbeat Barry, which was really interesting to see, and really cool to see, too, because, you know, he was just loving being the Flash again, but he wasn't weighed down by all the craziness of life, and parents dying, and freaking, I'm never gonna be able to save Iris, and all this other bullshit. So it was nice to see him, you know, from that perspective. But, you know, he's not the Flash we've known for 3 seasons. So, you know, he had to get his memory back eventually. And, you know, everybody else had to get their powers. Which, you know, still didn't make sense to me because Savitar and, you know, whatever, fuck it. Also, once again, Iris proves that freaking she's Barry's lightning rod, if you know what I'm saying. Because, you know, they started kissing and they're like, and he was like, whoa, and he freaking got powers. You know, he got a little rise, got a little shock, and you know what I'm saying. Flash boners aside, the best relationship stuff happening in this episode was freaking HR and Tracy. Oh, yeah, I'm so glad that something's starting to finally happen there, because HR is my boy, and I like good stuff happening to him, and I feel bad if he's gonna freaking die at the end of the season. I'm gonna be super pissed about that, because he's one of the best characters on this show. At the end of the episode, we find out that Tracy is starting to actually, you know, start developing the technology, but she needs alien tech to actually make shit work. So that means we're gonna have to steal some shit on the next episode, and they are bringing back Leonard Snart to help steal stuff, and it is guarded by King Shark. So I'm really excited about next week's episode because I'm all about heist shit. But, you know, this is an Argus place, which it's gonna be really interesting to see what's gonna happen with Lila and Argus and King Shark and all of that jazz coming back on next episode. And I just want to see Snart back. Like, Snart's one of my favorite characters. And, you know, it's just going to be good to see him back on The Flash. But that's pretty much all I got, guys. I want to know your theories and, you know, thoughts on this episode. Do you like the explanation? I think the explanation is just kind of a cop-out. I think it's kind of, like, really lazy. But, you know, that's just my opinion. I want to know, do you think it's, like, the best idea ever, man? Let me know in the comment sections down below. Also, in case you guys didn't know and you didn't see the big announcement video, I have launched a few things which I am just still trying to get a hold of everything. But if you want to become a Patreon subscriber, which is, you'll be helping out this channel, there's a few perks over there you can totally check out. And one of the cool perks is you can actually become a Juice from the Box producer on this channel, much like Trisha here. Woo! She is a producer of Juice from the Box videos, and I really appreciate it. You are badass, Trisha! But anyways, guys, do go check over there if you do want to support this channel. If you want to, you know, don't want to support through the website, we also got freaking shirts and stuff. Just, there's a bunch of Juice from the Box stuff going on. Definitely check out that big announcement video if you haven't. And we also got the giveaway still going on. I need to update it. There's going to be more chances to enter. But yeah, whole bunch of things going on. Make sure you're checking that out. And I really appreciate anybody that's just coming to watch these videos and giving up a like, you know, if you like this video, and sharing it with all of your Juice Box buddies. I should say Flash buddies. So yeah, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for all things nerdy and geeky on this channel. As always, I am your host, Juicebox. Remember, when you wake up in the morning, ask yourself something. Have I my daily dose of juice. See you guys next time. Bye!